Hello to all harmonica friends! Finally, here we are on our first educational video series. The first 3 videos of this series are dedicated to the basic technique, then hands posture, embouchure and some general advices. We had to put too much attention to those initial steps to avoid acquiring false postural defects that may limit our technique or even make us develop tendinitis or contracture over time. But before we start, we have to say something about our instrument. Often, at the Santa Cecilia Conservatory in Rome, where I teach a harmonica, my students, when they arrive, they have confused ideas about the harmonica, different models, and which instrument they have to buy. I will give you some suggestions about each model, but for more details, I suggest you excellent brand and power videos that you can easily find online on internet. In those videos, Brendan presents some different models of harmonicas very well and in detail. Here we will talk about some general and fundamental aspects that can influence our choice, and the principal and the most important are extension and tonality or key of the instrument. So I would like to give some suggestions about which instrument with what characteristic you need to buy. Ready? Let's go! The first important aspect that we have to consider is the extension or the range of sounds that the musical instrument can produce, from lower sound to the most agudo. On the harmonica, more holes there are, the wider will be the extension. A classical number of holes is 12, that correspond to 3 octaves of extension. What is the octave? Easy. For example, in this model, the lower note is C. In this case, this note will correspond to the central C on the piano, which will be written on the stave like this. The upper octave of the note C is at the distance of 4 holes. In fact, every 4 holes we have an octave. So in an harmonica with the 12 holes, we have 3 octaves, which corresponds on the pentagram to this. Another very common harmonica is the 16 holes. The extension of the instrument is of course 4 holes more than 12 holes model, correspond are 1 octave more downwards compared 12 holes model. Which corresponds on the pentagram to this. These 12 and the 16 harmonicas have the advantage of having a symmetrical cut of the extension, octaves complete, 3 in the 12 holes and 4 in the 16. But there is a very interesting intermediate model, the 14 holes, 2 hole downwards compared 12 holes model that allow it to arrive note G. It is an interesting idea because it offers an instrument that is still agile like the 12 holes but not as cumbersome as the 16 holes. Moreover, the love notes hole 13 and 14 added are very useful, especially in jazz themes, and that have great expressiveness. Here you are an example. The other important point I will talk to you is about the key of the harmonica. In most cases, the harmonicas are in C. This means that by playing in hole 1 blowing, we will play C. But not all harmonicas are made in this way. In fact, some harmonica are also built with the different keys, and if you are blowing in the hole 1 instead of the C, we could get a G or F or D, and therefore all the notes will be differently positioned on the instrument. For example, 12 hole in C. I change the instrument, 12 hole in G. To know the key of harmonica, we have to look for an abbreviation on the case, or directly engraved on one of the metal covers of the harmonica that will bring back a letter. This letter corresponds to a note according to the terminology that today is called English, but in origins the use of letter for notes it was Greek. We can consider the harmonica in C, as in fact it is, our standard. That's surely I think interesting that there are instruments with other keys and that can be used for specific situation. Having a standard is fundamental, not only for the performance who can determine executive practices that characterize each instrument in relation to its repertoire written as concert, sonata, etc., but especially for composers who will be able to write a new repertoire referring to a determinate instrument, to a provision of note on the instrument, and exploiting in the best possible way the combination that this distribution arrangement offers, for example for polyphonic use or chords formation, and as you can see in this Jacob and Vaughan Williams course. Well, to sum up, we have harmonica with 3 principal extensions, 12 hole with 3 octaves, 14 with 3 octaves and a half, and 16 with 4 octaves. While we can have instruments with various keys, and the most common and standard is C. To know in what keys is an harmonica, we have to see a letter engraved on the covers or written on its case. Well, for today that's all. Bye and see you on the next harmonica tutorial. Ciao!